Football is more than just a sport. It is a language spoken across continents, a source of collective joy and, shared sorrow. It unites strangers in crowded stadiums and divides friends in passionate debate. The game's beauty lies in its simplicity. A ball, a patch of grass and a goal are all you need. From the dusty streets of Rio de Janeiro to the manicured pitches of Manchester, its appeal is universal. This simple framework allows for, infinite complexity, a canvas for tactical genius and individual brilliance. The roar of the crowd, the thud of the ball, the gasp at a near miss. These are sounds that resonate with billions. Football is a drama in 90 minutes, a story with heroes and villains, a spectacle that honestly captivates the global imagination. The game's power lies in its ability to create moments, a last-minute winner, a stunning solo goal, a desperate goal-line clearance. These are the snapshots that are etched into our memories, passed down through generations. Football offers an escape, a brief respite from the worries of daily life. For the duration of a match, all that matters is the contest unfolding on the pitch. It is a tribal affair, a matter of local pride and national identity. The colours of a club shirt become a second skin, a symbol of belonging. This deep-seated emotional connection is what fuels the game's enduring popularity, making it the most watched and most played sport on the planet. Why does this game hold such a grip on us? It is because football reflects life itself. The term Godfather carries a certain weight. It suggests a figure of immense influence, a patriarch who oversees the family. In the context of football, it is not about power in a sinister sense. Instead, it refers to a foundational figure. A godfather is someone who did more than just play the game well. They shaped it. They helped write its rules, define its character, and set it on its path to greatness. This is not a title for a mere superstar, no matter how many goals they scored or trophies they won. It is reserved for an architect, a pioneer who built the very structures upon which the modern game stands. A true godfather's influence transcends a single era. Their impact is felt long after they have left the pitch. They are the ones who introduced new ideas, challenged old conventions, and fought for the sport's soul. Think of the figures who established the first leagues, who codified the laws of the game, or who championed the idea of professionalism. These are the men who turned a disorganized folk activity into a structured global sport. Consider the qualities of such a figure. They must possess vision, the ability to see what the game could become. They need leadership to persuade others to follow their path. They require dedication, a relentless commitment to the sport's development. These are not players who simply excelled within the existing system. They are the ones who created the system. While players like Pele or Johan Cruyff revolutionized how the game was played, a godfather's influence is even more fundamental. They constructed the stage upon which these later geniuses would perform their magic. Their work was often done off the pitch, in committee rooms and board meetings. This distinction is crucial. Long before the era of television and global celebrity, football had its first true star. His name was Sir Arthur Kinnaird. He played in a time when the game was raw, brutal, and honestly barely recognizable to the modern eye. The pitches were muddy fields, the boots were heavy work shoes, and the concept of tactics was in its infancy. Yet in this primitive environment, Kinnaird shone brightly. He was born into aristocracy in 1847. A member of the privileged class that first codified the sport in England's public schools. But his love for the game was anything but gentile. He was a fierce and relentless competitor, known for his physicality and his unquenchable desire to win. Kinnaird's playing career was extraordinary. He reached an incredible 9 FA Cup finals, a record that still stands today. He won the prestigious trophy 5 times, 3 with the Wanderers and 2 with the Old Etonians. This was at a time when the FA Cup was the pinnacle of football, the ultimate prize. Kinnaird was not just a participant, he was a dominant force. He was known for his aggressive style, often playing in long white trousers and a quartered cap. Legends grew around his play. One story tells of his wife worrying about him coming home with a broken leg, to which a friend replied, "You need not be alarmed, madam, it is not his leg." His impact was not limited to his trophy haul. Kinnaird was a versatile player, capable of playing in almost any position on the pitch, from goalkeeper to forward. His on-field presence was immense. He was a leader, a captain who inspired his teammates through his sheer force of will. In an age of amateurs, his commitment was professional. He was one of the first players to become a household name, a figure recognized and admired across the country. His fame helped to popularize the fledgling sport, drawing crowds and capturing the public's imagination. Sir Arthur Kinnaird's greatest contributions came after his playing days were over. Honestly, his true legacy lies in his work as an administrator. In 1890, he became the president of the Football Association, a position he held for an incredible 33 years until his death in 1923. And this was not just a ceremonial role. Kinnaird was an active, influential leader during a period of seismic change for the sport. He oversaw football's transition from an amateur pastime for gentlemen into a professional sport for the masses. This was a controversial and difficult process, but Kinnaird's guidance was crucial. He really understood that for the game to survive and thrive, it had to embrace professionalism. One of the most significant challenges he faced was the class divide in football. The original founders from the upper classes were staunchly against the idea of paying players. They believed in the Corinthian ideal of amateurism. However, clubs in the north of England, often formed by factories and working-class communities, began to discreetly pay their best players to gain an advantage. This created a huge rift. Kinnaird, an aristocrat himself, could have sided with his peers. Instead, he showed remarkable foresight. He recognized that the future of the game lay with the working-class clubs and their passionate supporters. He steered the FA towards legalizing professionalism in 1885, a decision that saved the sport from splitting apart. Under his long presidency, football became the national sport. He oversaw the expansion of the Football League and the growth of the FA Cup into a national institution. It was on his watch that the famous Wembley Stadium was planned and built, becoming the spiritual home of English football. He was a steady hand on the tiller as the game navigated crises, including the outbreak of the First World War. He understood the importance of rules and fair play, but also the need for the game to be exciting and accessible to all. His leadership provided the stability and vision necessary for football to establish deep roots in society. Kinnaird was more than just a bureaucrat. He was a guardian of the game's soul. He fought to maintain its integrity while allowing it to evolve. His decisions shaped the very structure of modern football, not just in England, but across the world, as other nations adopted the English model. His 33-year tenure as FA president is a period of unparalleled growth and consolidation for the sport. He was the architect who drew up the blueprints for the global game we know today. His work in the committee rooms was arguably even more important than his legendary exploits on the pitch, cementing his status as a true godfather. When people talk about football's godfathers, names like Pelé, Diego Maradona, or Johan Cruyff often come up. These players were geniuses who redefined what was possible on a football pitch. Pelé made Brazil synonymous with beautiful, attacking football and became the game's first global icon. Maradona was a force of nature, a flawed genius who could win a World Cup almost single-handedly. Cruyff was a revolutionary thinker, the on-field general of total football, a philosophy that changed tactics forever. Their greatness is undeniable. Honestly, they are football royalty, kings who reigned over their respective eras with sublime skill and artistry. However, their influence, profound as it was primarily on how the game is played. Sir Arthur Kinnaird's influence was more fundamental. He was a master of the science of building the sport itself. While Pelé and Maradona were painting masterpieces, Kinnaird was building the gallery, mixing the paints and stretching the canvas. He operated at the structural level. His work on legalizing professionalism, guiding the FA and establishing the game's major competitions created the framework within which all subsequent legends would operate. He is the Godfather because his work came first and made everything else possible. His character was a fascinating mix of contradictions. On the field, he was a ferocious, almost reckless competitor. Off it, he was a deeply religious man, a devoted philanthropist and a respected banker. He was a teetotaler who dedicated much of his life to charity work with organizations like the YMCA. This combination of fierce competitiveness and moral rectitude made him a unique figure. He was an aristocrat who championed the working man's right to play football for a living. This complexity makes his story all the more compelling. What can we learn from Sir Arthur Kinnaird today? His story is a powerful reminder that the games we love did not appear out of thin air. They were built by individuals with passion, vision, and a willingness to navigate difficult changes. Kinnaird teaches us that true leadership involves embracing the future, even if it means challenging the traditions of the past. He showed that influence is not just about personal glory, but about service to a cause greater than oneself. As we watch the multi-billion-dollar spectacle of modern football, it is worth remembering the Victorian gentleman with the formidable beard who, through his play and his presidency, laid the cornerstone for it all. He is and always will be football's true godfather.